Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Deal Talk. And wow, am I really excited about this episode. We have with us this morning Dain Court, and Dain is with New Day. And so we're really excited to get him on board. New Day is a huge sponsor with us at the Commercial Loan Brokers Association. So Dain, welcome to Deal Talk. How are you this morning?
Doing great, Terry. Thanks for having us on. And we love the conference and love everything you guys are doing for the industry.
Well, thank you so much. You're a huge part of that. So Dain, for our followers and our listeners out there today, tell me who you are, as far as New Day, and what's your role at New Day?
Yeah, so New Day, I'm the Chief Origination Officer. So I oversee production, oversee marketing, oversee everything that encompasses basically originating a loan with us. New Day, commercial real estate lender. We're a nationwide lender, and we focus on three big assets right now, types of lending. So SBA 504 loans will go up to about a 93% loan to value. That SBA 504 loan is for owner-user properties. And when I say owner-user, that's when you're running a business out of that location and you occupy at least 51% of that property for your business. It has nothing to do with living there when I say owner-user. Our next loan program that we offer is a conventional loan. This is where you occupy less than 51% of that property for your business. It's not SBA eligible, and you're out there running your business out of that location, but you might have some tenants, so envision a strip center out there, a retail strip center, and you occupy 40% of that property and you have 60% tenants. So we're going to look at that. We're going to underwrite that a certain way. And a lot of banks are going to treat that as an investment program, and you're going to get limited on your loan to value. We'll look at it a little bit different way in our analysis and probably get up to that 70, maybe 75% loan to value on our conventional program. Our other program is just a straight investor loan. So, investor loan, it's passive income coming in from that property, and you're just looking at it as an investment. Our loan programs, we generally like to be 10 million and below on our first trust deed. We go down to a 600 FICO score. We look at projection-based loans, and we're aggressive. We're not a bank, so we're not looking for deposits. We're out there and we're trying to get, business in. We get a lot of banks that refer us business that want to maintain those relationships with their client. We're really a transactional player in the marketplace. So we have the ability to get in there quickly, understand the request, make something happen. I think we closed the deal, I believe it was 9 business days from start to finish. On an SBA 504 loan. I already had the SBA authorization. Another lender was, seeing if they wanted to get the deal done. And one of our account executives over here, got involved with the transaction. The client wanted to close quickly, and I think we closed in 9 business days. So we can be quick, we can be aggressive, and we understand lots of different types of scenarios that people are in. We have a flexible prepay. Usually it's a 5-year prepay, but we have some options in there to have less of a prepay if people want to get out of the loan quicker. All of our programs, pretty much all of them that we offer, one thing that's a little bit different from us and the rest of the marketplace, it's a true 30-year fixed loan. So it's a 30 doing 30, no balloon payment. And people all the time say, well, can you do a short-term loan? I said, the rate's going to be the same. I said, let's just get you a 30-year fixed loan. Well, I don't need 30 years. I'm going to be out of that deal in 2. I said, but let me get you a 30-year fixed loan, because what if it takes 3? Right. We don't want to have a balloon at that point. So, refinance out of the deal when you have time. Don't be forced to, be up against a balloon note.
Yeah. So my next question, Dain, was going to be what separates you from the other lenders, but my goodness, I mean, it's a tremendous separation, with your product lineup, your lineup. I mean, you're doing SBA 7A, you're doing 504.
Real quick, no 7A, just SBA 504.
Okay, just SBA 504. Okay, all right, good deal. And you're doing a lot of the conventional stuff too, that's outside the government guarantee program.
Yes, a lot of that. And when it gets outside of the SBA government guarantee program, for example, on our investor program, like I said, all of our products on the first trust deed are 30-year fixed loans, but we also have full and light doc options on our investor program. So people sometimes want to move quickly. They don't want to go through the tax verification process. They don't want to go through all the heavy analysis of the tax returns. They want to move quickly.
Right.
So in those instances, we can really base a lot off the market rents from that appraisal and look at that for some of our larger commercial investor properties.
Yeah. What is the largest loan that you'll do, Dain, at New Day?
Generally, we're about $10 million on the first trust deed. So sometimes, if you have an SBA 504 loan, you might have a second trust deed that's $5 million. Or you can go up to $5 million usually on the SBA second trust deed. So sometimes our first would be at 10 million, and then we could pull in a partner maybe or do the bridge loan for the 5 million until the government takes us out of that $5 million second trust deed.
Right.
So maybe get up to 15 million in the right circumstance.
So at New Day, you're not really inside a box. You guys are pretty creative, and it's such a used expression, but thinking outside the box. But you guys really are a lender that does look around and just try to be creative and do what's best for the client that's going to perform, right?
Yeah. And I'll give you just a quick example of thinking outside the box. We had a client, let's say it's probably very similar to what you and Jeff operate. You have a brokerage firm, and let's just say that brokerage firm was a franchise. Your brokerage was a franchise. You and your wife owned the building. You and your son were W-2 employees of a company, right? Let's just say that. And you occupied 40% of that office building, and you had a bunch of tenants. And there was, another piece of that property that maybe your, partner and his wife, they ran another business out of there at a lower percentage. This group went to two other lenders in the marketplace. They went to Bank One. Bank One came back and said, hey, this is an investment property. It's based off of the DSCR requirements. You're at 50% loan to value. So this is a rate and term refi. They were about 70%, 75% loan to value. They went to Bank Two. Bank Two came back, promised them the world. They came back, the appraisal only debt services, 55% loan to value based off our requirements. So the way that we looked at it, because of the business that the partner and the wife ran, they weren't even owners of the building yet. We were able to qualify that property as an owner user property, get them into a rate and term refinance. We were probably 73% loan to value, and just a home run for them. They probably would have went into default and had some issues with their current lender, but we were able to get in there and help by the way that we creatively think about things and ideas.
Yeah. So you actually saved them from being a troubled asset, at their current lender, and they probably never missed a payment. I mean, obviously we don't do bad credit loans. None of us want to do that. So that's really interesting. So, wow, really creative stuff with New Day. So I hope our brokers are listening to the opportunities that they could present, that you guys could find solutions for them. That's really good stuff. So
and that's the collaboration that I talk with most of the brokers that call me. We have a very well-educated team that's going to know our products. When I originate myself as well, but when I talk to a broker, it's important for them to understand. Hey, tell me everything on the deal. Tell me the good, bad, and the ugly.
Exactly.
We're never going to break the rules, but we can figure ways to get creative and get around the hurdle. Not break the hurdle, but get around it. But if we know everything up front, we can structure the deal accordingly. And, okay, there was a bankruptcy 7 years ago. There was a foreclosure 10 years ago. Just tell us it all, because otherwise it's a character issue. But I think working in that collaboration, knowing the full story and, educating our brokers and clients, don't be afraid to tell us something. Oh, your tax returns might not work from 2021. Okay, that was a issue going on at that point in time with the economy and COVID and all that stuff. People understand that. So just let me understand the whole story and see what we can put together and try to make it happen for you.
Yeah, that's what we kind of do with our bridge lending. We're a direct lender too. We just do the bridge lending short term. Certainly don't do the amounts that you guys do, but that's what I try to tell the brokers that we work with is exactly what you said. Tell me the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let me figure out if there's a way to, to overcome that because we're gonna find out.
Yeah.
That's I think that brokers don't realize is with the clear reports and the background checks and everything that we're all doing as lenders, we're gonna find it.
All day. Yeah.
And we'd rather find it. We'd rather know it up front because it's like what you said. If you know it up front, then it's not necessarily a character issue. But if they're trying to hide it from you, then okay, what else are they trying to keep from us? That's
Yeah.
kind of we look at it too.
One other thing, Terry, I think that sets us apart a little bit in the marketplace. We talked about what our first trust deed would go up to, about 10 million.
Right.
But I think what a key thing for us is we'll go down to a $200,000 first trust deed as well.
Oh wow.
So, when I was brokering loans, to get a banker or to get a lender to call me back on a $400,000 deal, very tough.
Yeah.
People all the time have teased, oh, why are you looking at such a small loan out there? It's 250,000. It's 225%. Hey, when we stopped doing the small loans, this is in previous, my previous history at other places. When we stopped doing those small loans, you lose those relationships.
That's right.
That broker is going to call over to X lender and get that deal done. So, you look at it and you say, hey, I'm going to go down to 200,000. I'll go up to 10 million. You call me on anything and I'm going to return your phone call regardless, because we might book a $200,000 deal now. And we might book an $8 million deal later.
That's exactly.
That's what a lot of people in this industry, I think, don't get. There's a lot of big salaries for bankers and lenders on the commercial side, not as much on the residential. And people, it's hard to get a return phone call. You send something in, a full package, and someone never gets back to you. That's just not good business. And I see it all the time still,
Yeah. Yeah, I want to be respectful of your time. I'd like to shift gears a little bit here and talk a little bit about the Commercial Loan Brokers Association, the convention and expo that we just finished up down in Orlando this past October. I'd really like to get your overall feedback and thoughts, on the convention.
Yeah, I mean, from the convention this year, the first year that it was pushed out, phenomenal attendance, quality of brokers, quality of lenders that were there.
Mm-hmm.
And, I thought it was really more on the education of what people are doing. I think the opening ceremony, one of them, we had a rep on from Celtic, and she did an amazing job of educating people on the updates that have come in with the SBA 504 loan. I mean, that was just the beginning of it, with the great breakout sessions, well attended. I think everyone, brokers and lenders and vendors, all get a lot of benefit. But I really felt that the education this year, the camaraderie, the intimacy of the conference was the best I've seen. And being involved with the history of other conferences and other things that have been out there, I feel that this conference is very unique for commercial loan brokers because they get the whole gamut of commercial real estate lending at the conference. So I think it's invaluable for new brokers to get into the industry. And selfishly, from a lender perspective, I want to be in front of all those new brokers out there and educate them what's out there. So it's a win-win, from the lender perspective and to the new brokers that are showing up there.
Yeah, I appreciate that feedback. We when we set out to do this, we started in March of this year, and we knew we had to have the conference, in sometime in October.
Yeah.
And I told our staff, that we quickly put together and assembled, and a lot of them have experience. But one of the things I said to them is, if we're going to do it, then I want it focused on what it really should be, and that is education. Because I think if we can educate our brokers, and provide them with information and things that are going to help them, close more deals, they're going to make more money and do it the right way, then we're lifting our whole industry up. And I think all of us, as lenders, as members of this, industry, I think we all could benefit from that,
Yeah.
in that. So I think you'll see us stay true to our course, and as far as education goes going forward. So, so just a couple other questions for you, if you've got just a few more minutes.
Yeah, definitely.
I get what your role is now in the commercial finance market and all that, but what trends are you seeing in the commercial lending industry right now? I know we just came through an election, and you hear the different schools of thoughts. No matter who wins after an election, I've seen it in my 10 years, almost 11 years now in this industry. No matter who wins after the election, everybody kind of goes, and then they want to get back to going to work. So what are you
Yeah.
seeing as trends go?
I mean, I feel that the industry itself reacts quickly, and it takes a long time to build back up momentum. So when there's a change in the economy, a change in anything, a lot of groups, lenders, bankers, their philosophy is to tighten up and, inch back into the water, very slowly. There's so much business that is coming due in commercial real estate. There's a flood of deals maturing. There's a flood of deals, that have financial covenant violations. And there's not enough lenders out there in the country, I feel, at this point, to finance all that debt. So the trends that I'm seeing, investment properties, very, very difficult to finance. Large investment properties, even more difficult.
Right.
People have nowhere to turn. And I'm seeing a lot of those requests come in. And the cap rates are still fairly low. The NOI from the properties still hasn't increased that much. So you see a lot of people with the rise in interest rates that are going into, when their loans are reset, and they're unable to refinance their current bank. So I see the trend out there, for investment real estate, that it is, there's a lot of work to be done, but I see a lot of those deals coming up, and I see lenders that can actually help those people is big. Same thing with owner user properties, right? A lot of clients are on adjustable, either adjustable 7A loans. Those rates, spiked up heavily. They're coming back down a little bit now, which is great for them because it gives them a little bit of payment relief. But still, with financial covenant violations, that's sort of the trend that I'm seeing. These people are good pays. They have good credit. They're making payments on time, but the banks and lenders are not renewing them, or not helping them out. So pushing them into a 30-year fixed, pushing them into a longer amortization, rates might be a little bit higher than what they're looking at, but their payments are lower, So, the trend is I see a lot of debt coming due and not enough lenders out there helping. So I think brokers networking and understanding what lenders are actually lending. It's not a rate game right now. It's just about getting the deal done and surviving, at that point. Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
I agree with you. Yeah. We're seeing some of that on our side too. And we're being asked to do things that are outside of our wheelhouse, and we just have to tell them we get a lot of loans that are, we have a limit of about 3 to 4 million we like to do.
Yeah.
And no more than that. And we're getting a lot of requests way above that. We're like, guys, it's not our niche. It's not what we do.
Well, that's where the broker relationship, that's why the broker relationship is so important in times like these.
Wow.
When everyone's lending, brokers are less desired, right? And back in 2008, brokers were heavily needed. But right now, client goes to a big bank, one of the big four. They get turned down after 45, 60 days. They might go to the second big bank.
Right.
They get turned down again. That client, they're just thinking, I got to sell or go hard money or whatever. And they can't even find hard money companies. I mean, it's so hard to find good lenders. So having a broker that can navigate you through the waters, finding the right lenders that can help you is invaluable in times like this. I mean, they're really helping the economy, and they're helping small business owners and investors keep their properties.
Yeah. So finishing up, I guess that leads right into the perfect question is, what advice would you give to brokers, today, that are navigating today's, financing challenge? What advice would you have for brokers or business owners as well?
Yeah, I mean, from the broker side, I mean, this is just good business practice. Like when you started, knocking on doors, taking bankers out to lunch,
Right.
understanding what they do. So having a list of all the bankers, that you meet with, dialing it down to your top picks, your top 10% of those guys. You don't want to be working with the job hoppers, at banks. You see them move all over the place, but taking them to lunch, understanding what they do, taking lenders and bankers out, and putting that together, put that down in your notes. So when that call happens, you probably have about 3 to 5 minutes on a phone call to be able to place that deal mentally. A client calls you, and you or Jeff know within 3 minutes, oh, that's a deal for Dain. That's a deal for New Day. That's a deal for Celtic. That's a deal for X Bank.
Right.
That's what brokers need to hone in on right now. Who's doing what and how quickly, and what's the likelihood that they can get that deal done. Biggest thing that's out there. And then my advice for small business owners, don't give up, right? If your bank's pushing you out, don't just look at the big banks that are out there. I had a client years ago, and they were telling me, well, they banked with the big bank and they had a great deposit relationship, but the clients had recent bankruptcy history. And I told them, I said, you might want to go partner with a small bank, just a number. You can have all the money in the world at a big bank, and you're still just a number.
Yeah.
But take those deposits, go to that small community bank in your area, meet the president of that group, because you bank with them. They can understand maybe a bankruptcy that happened in the past, and they might be able to help you out. But become friendly with that bank, and there's a plethora of good small community banks throughout the country that work well with small business owners. And I think having those relationships are invaluable. And if they can't find it, you need to find some good brokers to work with that can help you make those relationships.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. One of the things I try to tell to brokers is that your lending relationships are really your intellectual property.
Yeah.
Because you got to know where to go with the deals when they're presented to you. That's what you get paid to do. And then for the business owners, one of the things I try, and I tell a story in the book, the first book I wrote called Yes, about a business owner that was turned down at a bank simply because it was in the wrong department. And he signed up with us. We ended up going back to that bank into the right department and got his deal funded, for him. So
all day long,
Yeah.
and that I had back when I was brokering as well, I had a client owned a franchise of Taco Bells and all these other, franchises. He would just buy the real estate and he would have
Right.
these tenants.
Yeah.
And their financial philosophy was getting to the long-term fixed loan. So as a broker, you usually have a fee agreement, protect yourself. And if you have a good client, they want to make sure you get paid for your service.
Exactly.
So I went around and shopped the deal around and knew what his objective was, and came back, said, here you go. And he goes, are you kidding me? I bank with that bank. I knew he banked with that bank. He has massive deposits with them, but he wanted a 15-year fixed loan, and there was a small little program at the bank that qualified for that loan, and he was just dumbfounded that his banker didn't offer it to him. And I said, well,
You might not have known about it. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And but he goes, you found it. I'm paying you, and let's keep going. So
Yeah.
it's funny
Dain,
how things work out.
It is. It's amazing. I really do appreciate your time today. I think you and your team, your company, are certainly leaders, in our industry. And our industry. A lot of people don't realize we're in a $1 trillion industry, with what we do, and so it's a great industry to be in. And with lenders like yourself and people like yourself in the industry, there's a lot of resources out there for brokers to be successful. So I appreciate you taking the time. I know we're a little bit longer than our normal deal talk sessions, but I really think it's important. So I do appreciate you being here with us today.
Perfect. I appreciate it. And anything we can do, just let us know, Terry.
Okay. Hey, everybody, this has been Deal Talk with Terry Luker and Dain Court from New Day. Have a great day.
Take care, you guys.
Thanks, Dain.
Thanks.